Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I am Jennifer Huber, also known as Solo Travel Girl. And since June of 2022, I've been using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Now, before I get into this week's update, which is really take 2 of week 96, I don't know what happened last night and this morning. Anyway, the video just didn't upload, so I thought, you know what? I was a little fired up about sharing my orthopedic visit, so I thought maybe it's a sign that I should re-record this video. So here I am, but before I get into this week's update, I just want to let you know how amazing Mounjaro has been in helping me improve my life and reach my health goals. When I started this journey, I weighed 197 pounds and I have lost over 60 pounds since then, or about 60 pounds I should say. I had an A1C of 8.2 and at last check, which is of January of this year, the end of January, my A1C was 5.6. I had high blood pressure and I no longer have high blood pressure and I'm no longer on high blood pressure medication. I am still on high cholesterol medication, however my numbers look great. I'll put my numbers here and a link to a video of my last numbers, which were also drawn in January. And I had non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, and that has since been reversed since being on Mounjaro. So yeah, this medication basically has been really amazing. So before I get into this week's update, I just want to remind you that I'm not a healthcare professional and I'm just sharing my personal experience and opinion about using Mounjaro to manage my type 2 diabetes. Also, I have no relationship with a drug manufacturer and I have no relationship with any pharmacy that is dispensing Mounjaro. So I'm sitting outside. This is after work, Jen. I got my work shirt on, my work blouse, I guess you could say. It's not a uniform, it's just what I chose to wear today. My dog is out here with me, enjoying this nice breeze and just enjoying the moment. So let's get into this week's update. All right, this part's gonna be a little weird because I forgot to add this in the video. So anyway, I'm on week 96 of Mounjaro and week 36 at the 7.5 milligram dose. I did that injection on Wednesday and honestly, I did feel a little queasy and nauseous on Thursday and Friday. So I'm surprised after all this time at this same dose that I still get that nauseous feeling. I've got that nauseous feeling. Okay, you don't want me to sing for real. All right, let's carry on. Update, I lost 1 pound this week. I am down to 137 pounds, so I've lost 60 pounds since being on Mounjaro. Glucose, I still haven't gotten out my old monitor to see what my numbers are because let's face it, I really don't think my other monitor, the fancy dancy one that was syncing up with my phone, I just don't think that was reading right or the glucose strips were accurate. So I'm not using that one, so I don't know what my glucose is. Nutrition, I'm being mindful as to what I'm eating grilled chicken, enjoying my homemade yogurt with those berries that I picked last week, those luscious blueberries. They're just fabulous. I hope to get one more picking in and fill my freezer up with blueberries. Let's see what else. Yeah, just being mindful, but I am treating myself every once in a while. I do enjoy the ice cream. I did make, last week's video I talked about making a lemon blueberry ricotta pound cake and I made that on Monday and I don't know, you know, since being on Mounjaro, my my taste buds have they seem dull. Flavors just don't seem as flavorful or things just don't taste the same. So I was really excited about this pound cake. I have been making vanilla since December. It's been brewing in some vodka and some vanilla beans I've had in my cupboard and I just thought the flavor would be really vibrant. I squeezed the lemons and grated the zest. It just didn't have any flavor. So I don't know if it was the recipe. I don't know if it was me and my ingredients. I don't know if it's my Mounjaro taste buds, but it just didn't taste the same. But that's a-okay. Exercise has been a lot of walking my dog twice a day. I still have my hip issues and I am limping along a little bit still, but my hip is getting a little bit better and we'll get into that in a little bit. But I had some volunteering opportunities. I had 2 volunteering opportunities one Friday and one on Saturday. I walked a lot, and then yesterday, Sunday, I met up a friend at a state park called Hillsborough River State Park. I'll show you a couple photos here. I'm not sure if I can get some video. If I get video, you'll see the video. If not, you're gonna see some photos. I met up with a friend, and we were actually college roommates. We went to school up in upstate New York, so it's nice that we both ended up down here. Her husband ended up down here first, and she came down, and they connected way after college. So that's nice having friends that I kind of grew up with in the area. But anyway, we walked a lot yesterday at the state park, and it's a beautiful state park. I did one day of PIO, and I did that my day after I met with the orthopedic or the orthopedist, whatever you want to call him. I guess orthopedist is more appropriate, or orthopedic surgeon. And since I am out here, my dog is here. I'm just keeping an eye on him, so if I'm not looking at the camera, that's why. Anyway, so we talked about nutrition, exercise. We don't have any glucose to talk about, but here we are. We're going to talk about this week's updates. I have 2 health updates to give you. Let's go with the thyroid first of all. If you've been following along, you know when I was the very first day that I was prescribed Mounjaro, my endocrinologist, she felt my thyroid to see if I had any, she calls tumors, I call them goiters. I guess the official term is a nodule, and she felt something there. However, she still can continue to prescribe Mounjaro to me, and told me that later on in the year I should have it scanned with an ultrasound. So I did, and that ended up being, I guess in December is when I had a scan, and it was decided that it needed to be biopsied. So about a year ago I had it biopsied, and it was negative. That's all good. I don't feel anything. I don't feel any nodule bulging out. I don't think it's affecting anything with my throat, my swallowing or anything. As I take a swallow right now. Power of suggestion, I guess. So anyway, I had a scan a week ago Friday to see how my nodule is doing, and I got the results in the portal. I haven't spoken to my doctor to interpret, but we have AI, we have Google to interpret these things now. And basically the initial nodule has grown a little bit, and now it has a twin, or it has a little sister or a little brother now. So now there is a second nodule, and the course of action is, because they're relatively small and they don't seem to be a threat, is to just monitor them a year from now. So I don't know, are these nodules here just because that's the way my body is? Is it because of the Mounjaro? I don't know. You know, I entered menopause a few years ago. I don't know if that has anything to do with my hormones and that, doing weird things and growing things and all that, but that is that. And then the other health update is my hip. So if you've been following along, you know in December, did a little running, came home, took a nap. I couldn't walk. My right hip really hurt. I hobbled around that first weekend. I was walking with a cane. I didn't go to the emergency room, which obviously was a bad idea, because I was meeting with my general practitioner the end of February. I basically saw her in February, and it kind of cooled down a little bit. It still hurt. It's hurt a little bit, but not as bad as before. I mean, I only used a cane once or twice. I didn't use it for 2 months solid or anything like that. So she gave me some medication, Meloxin, saying that it was basically probably arthritis and bursitis? Let me just get that pronunciation. Bursitis, yes, bursitis. So she thought it was bursitis and or arthritis. So she said to keep an eye on it, and if the pain didn't go away with this medication, then we'll have an x-ray. So the pain didn't go away, had an x-ray, and the interpretations that I read of the x-ray indicated a form of arthritis and then some other issues in my hip area. It did mention the bursitis and some calcium deposits, and then based on the x-ray, the recommendation was an MRI. And based on what I read about the MRI, that there were 2 torn tendon muscles, or 1 torn tendon and one torn muscle, and then it talked about arthritis and cartilage deterioration. Hey Red, hi, hi, and all this other stuff that basically I had to use AI and Google to interpret to me. And from that, I decided exercises I should do. And I did that because based on the MRI, my general practitioner said that I need to meet with an orthopedic surgeon, an orthopedist, to talk about what is going on with me and to help improve my hip. Now, my hip and my thigh feels weak. It buckles every once in a while. Right now, this week, it's not hurting very much, but a couple weeks ago, I don't know what I did. I mean, I know I was carrying a lot of boxes, I was doing exercises I probably shouldn't have been doing, and I needed a cane for a couple days to walk around. So basically, it took me about 5 or 6 weeks from the time when I had the MRI to have this appointment with the orthopedic surgeon. Not necessarily talk about surgery, but just a course of action. And I got there a half hour early as I was asked to, and basically I think it was almost like 50 minutes, 45, 50 minutes before I got in to see the orthopedist. And I mean, the waiting room was just jamming. And you know what, I wasn't expecting dancing elephants or marching band or anything, but I was just expecting more out of this whole experience. I have never felt like a number before this experience. I've been to this practice before. They've taken care of my shoulder and collarbone. They took care of me when I had a broken ankle. So I just had expectations and that I was going to be treated differently. The doctor, the orthopedist, he was very friendly. However, he was very short and direct to the point. He seemed very rushed and hurried. And I get it. They don't study the x-rays or the MRIs before you get there. He basically looked at the x-ray when he met me for the first time sitting in the room. He looked at the MRI really quickly, and then he told me that I had bursitis, and that was it. And then he asked me what I've been doing and what exercises I've been doing. He didn't ask me what exactly exercises I was doing, but I told him I found some exercises online. He just basically told me to continue those and gave me more exercises to do. And then I asked him, what about the tendon tear? And then he looked at the MRI. He's like, oh yeah, you don't have a tendon tear, you have a muscle tear. I'm like, it'll just heal on its own? He said, well, yeah, it'll scar up. It'll heal on its own. I'm like, okay. So there was no mention of the second muscle tendon tear. So I left. I probably met with him for about 5 minutes. He did move both my legs around. He had me get up, like take 2 steps to get up from the chair to the examining table, and that's where he moved my legs around, and that was pretty much it. So yesterday I was reading in the portal a summary of the visit, and it said that he had told me that my pain was most likely not from hip arthritis, which I don't remember that conversation. Maybe we did, but I don't remember that conversation. And then he said, in his personal opinion, he believes that my pain is from diverticulitis. Diverticulitis? What? Diverticulitis typically happens on the left side, and yeah, there's digestive issues and pain and all that other stuff. I did have a colonoscopy about 4 years ago, you know, after I turned 50, and there were no signs of that in there. Everything was clean as a whistle, so to say. So the summary did say that I had bursitis and recommended I do exercises and all that, but I was just floored. And then it had a summary of the x-ray and the MRI, said nothing about arthritis as well. Now, if you remember, I did have a second opinion done already before I had this first opinion, and that was basically through my employer. They have some kind of service, and they got a hold of the films and everything, and they came back with the same about arthritis and the 2 tears. So where am I? I'm a little baffled how, I guess I shouldn't be baffled. I mean, I don't have a medical degree. These are the experts, and I guess I need to, in one way, trust their judgment, but I know I need to be my own advocate. So I am going to continue on with the exercises that I have been doing, but my employer did give me a list of other doctors in the area that I can actually go see. So I'm gonna see how that goes. So in summary, I have a bigger tumor and a second tumor on my thyroid, and then my hip is, I don't know, I have bursitis and possibly diverticulitis. Go figure. I just also want to mention something else that I brought up last week, my car. I told you that I've been having some anxiety over my car because it's an older vehicle. It's a 2014. I'm about to approach 239,000 miles on it. I paid it off last year. I bought it used in 2019. I put over, I guess, 150,000 miles on it. And other than being a gas guzzler, it's pretty much been reliable. I take care of it. I have things replaced on it when it needs to be replaced. So I've been reaching out to dealers, looking at cars. I had a bait and switch at one dealer, and so that really kind of put up the on guard, make me a little bit guarded about approaching dealers and how I approach them. And oh my gosh, I reached out to one dealer and inquired about one car, and I had no lie, at least 6 of them reached out to me about it. So that's a little overwhelming, having 6 salespeople from the same dealer reaching out to you about the same car. So that made me a little suspect, give me a little bit of pause. So anyway, I took my car to a mechanic that I really trust in, and basically he told me what needed to be done, and it was basically a whole heck of a lot cheaper than putting a down payment on a new car. He said he used to have one of those vehicles and it worked out well for him. It was a reliable vehicle, and I asked him if he thought he could get to 300,000 with my vehicle, and he said yes, he was pretty confident in that. So that's where I am. I'm going to show my car some love. I do have some road trips coming up this summer, and it's giving me good vibes thinking about those road trips. So I know this video has gone long enough. Hopefully it's shorter than the video I attempted to upload yesterday. But I just wanted to give you all an update, and I want to thank you all for following me on this journey. Right now I'm not concerned about the tumors, the growths, the goiters on my thyroid. Perhaps I should be, but I'm not concerned about it at this point. My hip I'm more annoyed with, but I'm just going to keep on keeping on. All right, my friends, I hope you're having success with Mounjaro. So Radcliffe is ready to go. But thank you so much for watching, and remember, not only be kind to your others this week, but please be kind to yourself. I'll catch you next week, if not sooner. Bye.